Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, August 30th, 2019.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners James, Garcia, Cabello, James, Davis, and Caloza are present. We have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, beginning with engineering.
Good morning, Shirley Lau, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Angelica Samayoa with the Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Albazi Street Services.
Good morning, Eddie Chavez, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Good morning, TJ Knight, Assistant Executive Officer. We have one speaker card under public comments and speaker cards under items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
There we go. Everybody, we're all having trouble getting our microphones on today. It's a collective, we're all joining hands and not turning on our mics. We'll close the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Let's go ahead and take general public comment. Mr. Sachs? Mr. Sachs, general public comment? Mr. Sachs, general public comment? Okay, we'll close general public comment. Agenda item number 2, there's been a request by the applicant that was made to us to continue the tree removal item a couple of weeks. I'm optimistic that the applicant is in communication with the community and the potential protesters. So we, without objection, will grant the applicant the 2 weeks' time that they've requested. That puts us over to September 13th, 2019 for the tree removal on agenda item number 2. Agenda item number 1, let's see, where's, one moment. Let's go ahead and take agenda item number 5. Personal services contracts, pre-qualified on-call civil engineering services consultants. Recommending that the board first approve and forward the report with transmittals to the mayor, requesting that he approve and authorize myself or 2 commissioners of the Board of Public Works to execute the personal services contracts between the City of Los Angeles and the pre-qualified on-call civil engineering consultants list. The consultants will provide as-needed services for various public works projects. The 26 pre-qualified on-call civil engineering consultants are as follows: AECOM Technical, Alta Planning and Design, ARUP North America, Atkins North America, Canon Corporation, Cordoba Corporation, CWE, David Evans and Associates, DR Consultants and Designers, EXP US Services Incorporated, Geosyntech Consultants, GHD Incorporated, Harrison Associates, HDR Engineering, HNTB Corporation, Kimley Horn and Associates, KPFF Consulting Engineers, Mars Services, MGE Engineering, Michael Baker International, PACREM Engineering, Somas, STV, Tetra Tech Incorporated, TRC Solutions, Wagner Engineering and Survey, and request that the board randomly select the names of the PQOC consultants to create the initial pre-qualified on-call civil engineering consultants list for use in future assignments of work. On agenda item number 5, Mr. Charles, go ahead, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Sachs, you're right. You have a card in on number 5.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. For the record, Arnold Sachs. Really, very quickly, I can appreciate this pre-qualified on-call civil engineering service list. Who in the city, okay, so these lists are made yearly, made every 3 years, made every 5 years. Who in the city reviews these consultants to see how many times they get contracts for city projects? Like AECOM gets a lot of contracts for city, county, and metro. Canon, I don't know. Does anybody have an idea, calculate how many, there's 5 companies. Let's say the first 5 companies. How many contracts go to each company during the course of this consultant list contract. I mean, it could be 3 years for this consultant list contract. So how many contracts does AECom get over that period of 3 years? And how many contracts does Alta Planning get over those 3 years? And how many contracts does Tetra Tech get over those 3 years? And how many contracts does Michael Baker get over those 3 years? Because if they don't get contracts, then they're just fill-ins. We need to have a better idea so that people that are actually bidding for work get considered for the contracts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Chen on number 5. Mr. Charles, I'm sorry, I saw your name on another item, and you're like, what? I'm not here for that. But Mr. Chen is here for that.
Yeah, I'm here.
We'll get to Mr. Charles in a moment. Mr. Chen,
Great,
go ahead.
thanks. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Steve Chen with the Bureau of Engineering. And yes, the Bureau of Engineering would like to establish a list of pre-qualified consultants to provide supplemental or specialized professional civil engineering services on an on-call basis for various public works projects. So the Bureau of Engineering advertised a request for qualifications on the LA Business Assistance Virtual Network. It's also known as BAVIN. And we had 325 consultants download the RFQ. Of those, 30 consultants submitted a statement of qualification. And those SOQs were then rated by a panel of Bureau of Engineering employees based on the following criteria: technical qualifications, record of past performance, approach to work, and cost control. So from this process, we're recommending that 26 firms be included on this new list of pre-qualified consultants. These 26 firms have been reviewed by the Bureau of Contract Administration for compliance with the city's policies and ordinances. And the city's business inclusion program anticipated participation levels for this were 18% minority business enterprise, 4% women business enterprise, 25% small business enterprise, 8% emerging business enterprises, and 3% disabled veterans enterprises, business enterprise. And all these firms were reviewed and did meet the BIP outreach requirements. So we are therefore recommending that these 26 firms be approved for this new list of pre-qualified consultants. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James. Mr. Chen, it's a really very comprehensive and good report on the process. What I am missing, though, is the context. Okay. So I would imagine this isn't the first pre-qualified on-call list we have for civil engineering. So can you tell us why? Because apparently the board approved this in August of 18, but I wasn't here. So if you can tell us in the general public why we need a whole new list. Just give us a little bit of background.
Sure, yeah. So we have a current existing list, and the existing list is initially only good for 5 years, and it has to be amended every time. So we amended it actually twice, and so we now need to come out with a new list. It's time to get a new list, and so we'll open up to a fresh new set of consultants out there, and we obviously got a good response. And so, yeah, the point is just to have refresh and go out to a new list of potential firms to participate.
Thank you, and that's very helpful. And I think maybe in the future, other board reports can include that kind of information. Just a little more context for the general public. It would be very helpful, especially for newer members of the board. Thank you.
We're freshening up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Commissioner Davis, I can't see it because your microphone because of your video screen there. Go ahead, sir.
Sorry about that. Steve, thanks for the report. I appreciate the effort for inclusion of business improvement with our small and emerging businesses. In terms of our vision for this particular group, you mentioned 18%. Does that mean that each of the primes here have committed to 18% inclusion on projects that they might get?
Correct.
And in terms of the process that we use in the office, is it that we give projects, do we go down the line?
No,
what's the process?
Yeah, so the process, there is a process that for smaller opportunities we would go to the rotating list, but most cases we advertise to the entire list because most of our opportunities are relatively large, over say $100,000, and we would go to the entire list of firms And so it is a competitive process. But for the smaller opportunities, we have the option of not going to the entire list.
So basically, we, on the smaller projects, go down the list, but on the more competitive, larger projects,
Right.
we ask them each to compete and we take the best offer.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. And again, I appreciate us capturing the opportunity for business inclusion, particularly on these lists.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be helpful.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5, seconded by Commissioners Caloza and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Now, any issue sending number 5 forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Since we can send number 5 forthwith, don't go anywhere yet, Mr. Chen. We might need your services.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Knight, we need to randomly select the order in which the work will be dispersed. So under the watchful eye of Mr. Jordan, our city attorney, we will randomly pick, and Mr. Bozzi looked very interested this morning in being able to pick the names out of the envelope. So Mr. Bozzi, Mr. Knight will come over to you. You'll pick out the names and wanted to pick out one piece of paper at a time. Mr. Knight will read them into the microphone that's available right there, and that'll be the order in which we hand out the work. And you have a sheet to fill out the form, correct?
Correct, I do, President. So I have all 26 names of the contractors on small sheets of paper in the sealed envelope, which I'll unseal right now. And if you could just select them one at a time, we'll read them into the record as you select them.
Okay. We had Johnny Carson here. We could hold them to our head and read them. What was his name? The Great?
They're very small pieces of paper, so.
David Evans and Associates.
Number 1 is David Evans and Associates
David
Incorporated.
Evans and Associates, okay?
Number 2 is Michael Baker International Incorporated.
Michael Baker International, okay?
Number 3 is HDR Engineering Incorporated.
HDR Engineering is number 3, got it?
Number 4 is Mars Services Incorporated.
Mars Services, number 4.
Number 5 is Wagner Engineering and Survey Incorporated.
Wagner Engineering and Survey is number 5.
Thank you. Number 6 is DR Consultants and Designers.
DR Consultants and Designers, number 6.
Number 7 is Cordoba Corporation.
Number 7, Cordoba Corporation.
Number 8 is Tetra Tech Incorporated.
Number 8 is Tetra Tech.
Thank you. Number 9 is GHD Incorporated.
Number 9, GHD Incorporated.
Number 10 is HNTB Corporation.
Number 10, HNTB Corporation.
Number 11 is TRC Solutions Incorporated.
Number 11, TRC Solutions Incorporated.
Number 12 is Geosyntec Consultants.
Number 12, Geosyntec Consultants.
Number 13 is EXP US Services Incorporated.
Number 13, EXP US Services Incorporated.
Number 14 is PAC RIM Engineering Incorporated.
Number 14, PAC RIM Engineering Incorporated.
Number 15 is Alta Planning and Design.
Number 15, Alta Planning and Design.
Number Number 16 is ARUP North America Ltd.
Number 6, ARUP North America Ltd. 16.
Yes, number 16.
16, ARUP.
Thank you. Number 17 is AECOM Technical Services Incorporated.
Number 17, AECOM.
Number 18 is Canon Corporation.
Number 18, Canon Corporation.
Number 19 is SOMAS.
Number 19 is SOMAS. Starts with a P.
Yes. Number 20 is MGE Engineering Incorporated.
20, MGE Engineering Incorporated.
Number 21 is Atkins North America Incorporated.
21, Atkins North America Incorporated.
Number 22 is Harris and Associates.
Number 22, Harrison Associates.
Number 23 is STV Incorporated.
Number 23, STV Inc.
Number 24 is CWE.
Number 24 is CW, I'm sorry, is this number 24?
Number 24 is CWE.
24 is
Yes.
CWE.
Number 25 is KPFF Consulting Engineers.
Number 25 is KPFF Consulting Engineers, and I know it should be number 26.
And number 26 is Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated.
Okay. And no more in the magic envelope.
And
All
that's
right.
all 26.
All right, thank you. So that is the list. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Anything further?
No?
Okay.
Thank you very
And
much.
the motion has been made, passed, and passed forthwith. So that'll be it on agenda item number 5. Let's give our executive officer a moment to collect all of our wares here. Agenda item number 1. Sanitation Sole Source Memorandum of Agreement, Trust for Public Land, Reseda River Loop Greenway Project, recommending that the board first authorize sanitation to sole source with Trust for Public Land for the implementation of the Reseda River Loop Greenway Project. Secondly, approve and authorize myself or 2 members of the board and the Director of Sanitation or his designee to execute the proposed memorandum of agreement between the City of Los Angeles and the Trust for Public Land for the implementation of the project. Third, find that the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of CEQA pursuant to state CEQA guidelines section 15301 and 15304 existing facilities. The project is also exempt under the city's Environmental Quality Act guidelines article 3 section 1 class 1 existing facilities category 3 subsection 4. Fourth, authorize sanitation to file a notice of exemption under CEQA for the project with the Los Angeles County Clerk upon board approval. Fifth, authorize sanitation to be the implementing party on behalf of the city for activities related to the project. And sixth, approve and authorize the budget of $4,650,000 for expenditures related to the activities of the project. Mr. Sachs on number 1. Mr. Sachs on number 1.
Mr. Haynes.
Mr. Sachs is not here on number 1. Mr. Haynes on number 1.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. President, Commissioners, Gordon Haynes from LA Sanitation and Environment. We're here requesting authorization to enter into an agreement with Trust for Public Land, a nonprofit organization, to manage the Reseda River Loop Greenway project. This is phase 2 that follows the Aliso and Los Angeles Confluence Park project. We were asking for us to manage this project for implementation of the Greenway, which consists of 3,000 feet of public paths and then plantings, street end improvements, which include stormwater pre-treatment features, pedestrian improvements, and green infrastructure. We will also file environmental notice of exemption per CEQA environmental regulations and asking to authorize the budget. And that's why we're here.
All right, thank you, sir. I also would note we have Andrew Pennington from Council District 3 who's put in a speaker card. Mr. Pennington, welcome back, sir.
I'm not that tall. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this item today. My name is Andrew Pennington. I'm with Councilmember Blumenfield's office, and this project is in our district. This project has a long history, though for brevity's sake, I will spare you all of the details. Suffice to say, we're excited to continue our working relationship with the Trust for Public Land and to see this project get off the ground. Trust for Public Land delivered the first phase of this project and has actually been working diligently since that phase opened, continuing to work on design for this phase as well as trying to find other funding sources. Luckily for us, we have an opportunity to use CRA excess bond funds for this project, so we can fully fund it and move forward. The council member has been a strong advocate of this project and the work that Trust for Public Land does. We're excited to work with them again. And one other note is we want to thank Sanitation for stepping up and taking this project on, not only through project management, but also for maintenance of the project after completion. I'm here for any questions you guys may have, but again, thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Pennington. We will start with Commissioner Caloza.
Thank you, President James. And first off, just want to say thank you to Sharam and Wing Tam from Sanitation. They gave me a really informative briefing on this project, and I thought there just might be a few additional things that they told me in the briefing that would be incredibly helpful, just maybe for you to state here again that would be beneficial. One of the things that, that we talked about in the briefing that I thought was really helpful to, understanding this project was really also understanding, again, like how long this project has been going on and that, it has been a labor of love, if you will, by, Council District 3 and the councilman. Can you just state also for the record who actually completed phase 1 of this project?
Phase 1 was also implemented by TPL with Rec and Parks assistance.
So I thought that was helpful to know because, at least from my understanding, that, it really makes a lot of sense for TPL to continue doing phase 2 since, they have a history of working on this project, they're familiar with it, and that, phase 2 is, again, the next iteration for this. And then the second item that I thought that was helpful, and I know I talked to the council office, and I thought this would be a helpful amendment to the report, is who's responsible for the operations and maintenance, as he just stated. And can you just state for the record who's responsible for that? Because I think there's a few different departments involved, right?
Yes, actually, there will be a few public works bureaus as well as Rec and Parks will be assisting with the greenway elements. There'll be these stormwater features that help treat the water before it goes into the LA River. That's what sanitation will be responsible for at the two street ends. There'll also be engineering. We'll have some oversight over the structural aspects of the pedestrian crossing we're proposing, and street services will help with just some of the maintenance of that as well. So we'll have a collaborative effort in that regard.
Great. Yeah, and I know that's a common thing that we have come across the board is just MOAs in terms of who's responsible of operations and maintenance. And I think for this particular case, I don't think that was included for this project. But so if I could just propose a simple amendment, just to write out what you just said in terms of who's responsible for the operations and maintenance, so it's documented somewhere, so it's also clear for the public and also for the council office, so that they can also understand who to go to and what agency to go to when there's some maintenance involved. But other than that, thank you guys for the briefing, and I do support this project, and thanks to CD3 for being here today.
Commissioner Closer, thank you for the information and for the amendment. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James, and I will second Commissioner Colosa's amendment, and also to Commissioner Colosa's point. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of facts in the board report that weren't brought to us in the presentation. So to add to that, one other thing I'd like to put on the record, because it is a sole source contract, one I fully support for a wonderful project in Council District 3, is that in 2018, Trust for Public Land secured an EPA grant, I think for to advance the technical elements of the Aliso Creek project, and this can only be received and used if TPL performs this work. So I think this is another very good point to have on the record when we're discussing something like a sole source contract. So thank you, CD3, for being here, Trust for Public Land, and Sanitation for its leadership on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cabello. So, Commissioner Caloza, I will take that as an amended motion from Commissioner Caloza, and the amendment is exists in the exchange between Commissioner Caloza and Mr. Haynes regarding the disbursement of work as described on the record. And just one more thing for the record, Mr. Jordan, City Attorney's Office supports the justification for the sole source that we've indeed even added to during the public hearing today?
Yes, as indicated in the report, my office has already approved the contract as to form, so we concur.
Great, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Pennington. That'll be Commissioner Caloza's amended motion. I'll second it along with, Commissioner Cabello seconds it, and I'll second it along with Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. Thank you, everyone. Agenda item number 2 was continued. Number 3, a contract amendment. Office of Community Beautification, Los Angeles Conservation Corps Clean and Green Jobs Program for fiscal year 2019-2020. That's our current fiscal year. Recommending that the board authorize the Office of Community Beautification, subject to transfer and appropriation, to execute a contract amendment with the Los Angeles Conservation Corps in the amount of $2,081,040 to fund the Clean and Green program during fiscal year 2019-2020. Secondly, authorize the Director of the Office of Accounting to appropriate funds for the above amendment upon transfer of funding from the General City Purposes Fund to the Board of Public Works. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the board to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the City Attorney. Mr. Sachs on number 3. You waive number 3? Okay, thank you, sir. And Ms. Ruiz on number 3. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, President James, commissioners, and board members. My name is Anna Ruiz. I'm with the Office of Community Beautification. The Los Angeles Conservation Corps has operated the Clean and Green Youth Program since 1988. They recruit and hire Los Angeles area youth ages 14 to 17 to perform cleanup and beautification services throughout the city of Los Angeles. On a yearly basis, approximately 350 Los Angeles resident youth are employed via the Los Angeles Conservation Corps Clean and Green Program. The scope of work for the Clean and Green Program shall include initiation of an environmental beautification program by hiring of youth to provide services such as bulky item collection, litter and weed abatement, graffiti removal, and other projects as agreed upon. A few stats about the Clean and Green Program. Last year, Clean and Green maintained 5,022 streets, 102 alleys, 22 medians, 238 storm drains, 345 trees. They collected 13,437 trash bags and collected over 584,000 pounds of trash. The Office of Community Beautification is therefore requesting authorization to amend the Los Angeles Conservation Corps contract and provide funding for the Clean and Green program in the amount of $2,081,040 for the fiscal year 2019-2020.
Thank you. Any questions on number 3? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3. Seconded by Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issues sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. Thank you, ma'am. Agenda item number 4, contract amendment number 4. Choi Associates Incorporated, Architectural and Engineering Consultant Services for Proposition F, Animal Facilities Bond Program. Recommending that the board approve and forward this report with transmittals to the mayor and council, requesting the following. A, approve amendment number 4 to the contract between the City of Los Angeles and Choi to extend the contract term from August 31, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. So that takes us to the end of the fiscal. And secondly, authorize myself or 2 members of the board of Public Works to execute amendment number 4. Mr. Charles, first of all, Mr. Sachs, you're back on number 4.
Yes, thank you again. For the record, Arnold Sachs. A couple things about this. One, I can appreciate them picking consultant for is it for the facilities bond program or is it for the facilities? That's part one. But part two, maybe the city ought to re-look into some of the financial ways it looks at doing some structure for the city. There's MICLA bonds, municipally incorporated bonds. There's lease revenue bonds, which allow the bonds to be paid by people that are leasing the building. And so if you use those bonds, then it doesn't fall to the public. I mean, the city is actually financing its own infrastructure, and the people that are leasing the property or using that infrastructure end up paying for the bonds. I think that's the way the government used to actually work, that the city built things and leased it back to the government, and then sometimes the government paid, but sometimes private companies pay. Like in this instance, I'm sure that the facilities would be overseen by maybe a private contractor or a brain cramp, double brain cramp. But it would be more beneficial because you'd have money coming in. It would be able to be used maybe even to pay for pensions instead of using the pensions as another deterrent because we don't have any money for the pensions because everything goes for something else. But if you have lease money coming in, then you could say we want to direct that money to pay for a particular.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Charles on number 4.
Hi, good morning. I'm Cyril Charles, the Bureau of Engineering. I'm here requesting authority to extend the contract for Troy Associates. Troy Associates is presently providing design services during the construction phase for the North Central Animal Services shelter at the 5 and 101 freeway. We expect to finish construction on that project in January of next year. And that's the last proper facility that will be requiring their services on. So I'm only requesting authority to extend till June next year so they can finish the as-built documents and so forth on the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James, and thank you, Mr. Charles. The North Central Animal Shelter is very near and dear to my heart. It is where I adopted my cat. And I donate regularly sheets and blankets, and I go there maybe quarterly. And it's a place that desperately needed an upgrade in facilities. They've been working out of trailers for a very long time. They got to the point where they couldn't even accept donations anymore because there's no room. So this is a wonderful project. I'm very sad for the delay, but understanding all the geotechnical engineering, soil, et cetera, I understand why we have change orders. Just a little bit of confusion for me, if you can please clarify. Between the years 2016 to, I want to say 2017, we are at amendment number 3 with the Choi contract. It's extended to 2019, but then there were new bids for the same, or what's appeared, and I'm not sure, so this is what I want clarification on, and architectural and engineering services for the construction of Phase 2, and the bid went to Ford EC. So what I'm confused about is at the same time it seems that Choi is also doing the same work. Can you clarify that? Are there different scopes of work, but even though it's under the same umbrella of? Yeah, just a little clarification. It wasn't very clear in the board report.
Ford EC is the contractor who is actually doing the project. They're building the project. Troy Associates is providing design services during construction. So what they do for us, if there are requests for information like RFIs, things that come in, plan clarifications are required, we need architectural or engineering interpretations of the documents during the construction phase. We go back to Troy, who is the consultant of
Okay.
record for the project.
That makes a ton of sense. It doesn't say that in the board report, and that's where the confusion comes in, so we want to just be mindful of those little things. But I am very hopeful this is done next year. That shelter desperately needs it. It serves a wonderful community. I believe it's in Lincoln Heights, adjacent to Cypress Park and all the surrounding Northeast communities. So I fully support it, and I would love to move this if colleagues don't have any other further questions.
Thank you. That's seconded by Commissioner Davis. As I'll note, the MBE participation is 15%, WB 10%, so double digits on both of those. Any objection on agenda item number 4? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 6, authority for expenditure, Council Districts 3, 5, and 6. County of Los Angeles Department of Public Works, Land Development Division, Engineering, and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $30,000 for services associated with reviewing the 60% plans and 90% plans for the Los Angeles Riverway San Fernando Valley completion project. Ms. Lau on, well, first of all, Mr. Sachs on number 6. Mr. Sachs, not here. Ms. Lau on number 6.
Shirley Lau, Bureau of Engineering, Bridge Improvement Division. The Bureau requests the board to approve this authority for expenditure. It's $30,000 to pay to the LA County Public Works Land Development Division. They will be reviewing our plan documents at 60% and 90% completion for the LA Riverway San Fernando Valley completion project. The portion of this project is in their jurisdiction, and that's why they require review, and also they will issue a construction permit at the end of the review. So I'm happy to answer any questions on this item.
Standard cost we have for this kind of work that the county requires.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6, seconded by Commissioners Caloza and Davis. Thank you, ma'am. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We will send number 6 forthwith. Agenda item number 7, we have an update on our street improvement projects from Street Services. Mr. Cox. First of all, let me call Mr. Sachs. Mr. Sachs, you have a card in? He's not here. Mr. Cox, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, and Executive Secretary. I'm Michael Cox with the Bureau of Street Services. In an effort to keep the public informed on resurfacing projects which may cause delays to commuters, Streets LA would like to provide a status update on upcoming major projects, improvement projects. In the metro region, Friday 8:30 through Saturday 8:31 at 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. there will be cold milling and paving of Imperial Highway North Roadway from 130 feet west of Aviation Boulevard to Douglas. On Saturday 9/7 and 9/8 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. cold milling and paving of Slauson Ave from Vermont Avenue to Normandy Ave. In the Valley region, this upcoming weekend, there are no scheduled projects. The following weekend, which will be Saturday 9/7, 9/8, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., cold milling and paving of Shoup Ave from Satakoy to Sherman Way. Press releases have been broadcasted. Effective CDs involved with the outreach of stakeholders. Streets LA has communicated with DOT for traffic control needs, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. I would only add kind of a thank you from two important entities, the office and indeed the council president himself, as well as representatives from the entertainment industry, appreciating these reports every week that gives them the opportunity to have the information easily obtained. Just so folks know, one of the things that happens behind the scenes is this information is compared with at our film contractor with a hot sheet of the most filmed streets in the city, so we can tell if there is work that is going to be done on a street that is more frequently filmed. And it gets noticed, so thank you very much. Without anything further on number 7, the oral report on number 7 will be received.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good one.
Have a nice weekend. Agenda item number 8, contracts expiring within 90 days. Mr. Sachs, you have a card in on number 8. If you want to take an extra minute on number 7, I know that you weren't here when we called number 7, but
Thank you very much.
go ahead.
I appreciate your opportunity to let me speak. Thank you again, Arnold Sachs, for the record. This is a real touchy one, too. This is going to be super touchy, but it needs to be said. Contracts expiring within 90 days. You need to do more as the public, because your elected officials will say, you know what, the law says this. Even if the law is from 1980, if the law says that what it's supposed to do, that's the law that we follow. But it's the year 2020. And there's a lot of laws that have been enacted that have never been updated. We're in the 21st century. And they're 18th century laws or 19th century laws. Maybe it's about where you can walk your horse. Who gives a rat's ass? But maybe it's about redlining. And maybe it's about building. Or maybe it's about a CUP, a conditional use permit. That once somebody gets that conditional use permit, essentially it acts like redlining. We need to do some changes to some of the laws that reflect on today's society and what's going on in the city of Los Angeles right now. Because as long as you allow laws from 1980 and 1960 and 1950, when desegregation wasn't around, then what you're going to get is the same old stuff. Wash, rinse, repeat. And if you have people that are complaining about being excluded, they need to look at what laws are being enacted on the books. Because as long as some elected officials see those laws, those are the laws that they go by. We need to have people who look and read a story and says, if the law was 1980, well, wait, that's what they're basing their decisions on, 1980. But it's 2020, it's 2018, 2019. Upgrade the laws and eliminate CUPs or only allow them for 30 days.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Have a nice weekend. Ms. Lau, we'll start with you. For engineering.
Yes. Shirley Lau, Bureau of Engineering, Bridge Improvement Division. I'm here to provide the status of contracts due to expire between September 1st and November 30th of 2019. First off, with the architectural pre-qualified on-call contracts, there are 17 contracts for this on-call list. 8 of them are set to expire on September 23rd, and 9 are set to expire October 19th. Currently, there is a contract amendment board report that is being scheduled to come to the board. We are requesting, for that board report, we are requesting a 5-year extension. Next, we have 10 contracts for the pre-qualified on-call bridge and civil engineering consultant list. These are services provided for federal, state, and local transportation projects. There will be no extension on that particular pre-qualified list. We are going to establish a new list, and that is in the process. We will be coming to the board prior to these contracts being expired. So that completes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, I would be concerned for the job security of Mr. Drucker since he's the contract manager on all these, but I do know that he does such great work and there's a lot more coming down the pike. And I see that your name's listed on a few of these as well, Ms.
Yes, that's correct. I'm in the hot seat as well.
Thank you for the update. Any questions regarding those contracts that are expiring in the next 30 days? And I see that you have the ones in November. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
The oral report will be received. Monica Shelton for Streets LA. Hi.
Good morning. My name is Monica Shelton Frierson, and I'm here for the Bureau of Street Services. I'm here today to provide you the status of our contracts that are expiring within the next 90 days. which start from September 1st through November 30th. We currently have 4 contracts that are expiring within 90 days and 1 contract extension. Of the 4 contracts that are expiring, 2 are upcoming bid opportunities, and 2 are scheduled to be completed on time with no extensions. And those are, we have 2 tree trimming related contracts, which is the Rinaldi Street, which expires September 19th, and we have 1 for North Broadway, which expires October the 3rd. For our upcoming bid opportunities, we have the recycling and disposal of various materials, and that one expires the 23rd, and that includes the mixed debris and waste debris, and those items include city street sweeping materials such as debris and rubbish removed from city streets, alleys, and lots. We have the white goods, which include stoves, refrigerators, dishwashers, washing machines, dryers, and air conditioners. We have the bulky items that include items that have been abandoned and discarded on city streets, alleys, lots, etc. And these items may include furniture, ladders, fences, gates, doors, carpets, etc. And then we have the demolition materials. And these items may include dirt, asphalt, brick, concrete, sand, and rock. The second opportunity contract that is due to expire is the freeway off-ramp closure services. And for more information on upcoming bid opportunities, we encourage all interested parties to register online with the City of Los Angeles Business Assistance Virtual Network at www.labavn.org for these opportunities that are coming up. We have 1 contract extension that is coming up, and that is for our Wilshire Miracle Mile Sidewalk Maintenance District, and that is located in Council District 4, and that is with our Far East Landscape. We are planning to exercise our second amendment on this contract, which is prior to November 2019. It's important to note for this particular contract, it is funded through our property tax assessments, and on September the 10th, the City Council is already scheduled to hear that item, and that council file is CF 11-1077. And this pretty much concludes my oral report for status of contracts.
Okay, thank you. So just a couple things. So on the recycling and the disposal of inert materials and the bulky items and white goods, that one is going to be rebid, as you had indicated?
Yes.
As is the freeway off-ramp closure contract, which you indicated, that's going to be rebid.
Correct.
Miracle Mile gets a contract extension, and the tree trimming contracts referenced expire of their own accord.
Correct.
And then we're going to take those services in-house going forward with the budget.
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Let's continue to sanitation. Nancy Lanton?
Good morning, Commissioners, Bureau Reps, City Attorney, Assistant Executive Officer. My name is Nancy Lanton for LA Sanitation. For this monthly report, Sanitation has 6 contracts expiring within the next 120 days. Of those 6 contracts, 2 contracts will be renewed. The first one is for Waste Management El Sobrante, which expires September 11th. That's for disposal services for residual municipal solid waste in the city of LA. Sanitation will be exercising a 5-year renewal option in that contract, and the CAO report for that has been completed. We're just waiting for mayor review and approval on that one. The second contract that's going to be renewed is for responsible biosolids management for loading, transportation, and beneficial use of city biosolids. Sanitation will exercise a 3-year renewal option in this contract as well. 4 contracts within the next 120 days will not be renewed. The first one is with CR&R, which expired August 24th. That's for the receipt, processing, and reuse of green material, food material, and or horse manure from the City of LA's curbside collection program. Sanitation is drafting a new RFP for those services. The next contract that will not be renewed is ABB Inc. That expires September 30th. That's for control system support. That contract is no longer needed due to the wastewater control system replacement project. The third one that's not going to be renewed is Pacific Sewer Maintenance Corporation and Route Tamers for sewer route control. That contract, we are executing a new contract with a selected proposer for route control. And the fourth contract is for West Coast Rendering, which expires November 30th for dead animal processing and recovery services. Sanitation is developing a contingency plan for the disposal of the dead animals. So,
Yeah, it's so interesting. A West Coast Rendering is not necessarily, by the name of the entity, you don't necessarily know that it's about dead animal recovery. That was the one I had circled here. You're developing a contingency plan. Are we going to be taking that work in-house, or are we going to try and find somebody else? What are we doing on that? Do we have somebody else in the pike?
yeah, they're still working on that plan. I can get you an update as soon as I follow up with their.
Yeah, we have some time. I see that this actually goes through November.
Yeah, I know they're
Through
still
the end of
it's still in
November.
discussions on exactly what we're doing, but I can brief you on that or send you an email as soon as I get.
Just an email would be fine, and maybe just included in the next quarterly report, which ought to be right about the time that this contract is expiring.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lanton. Any other questions? The oral report will be received. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thanks. You guys too.
Commissioner Cabello has seconded my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. Any objection? Without objection, we'll approve the meeting minutes. And yeah, I've been waiting for 6 years for somebody to object to the meeting minutes. Without objection, we'll adopt the meeting minutes from Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. Mr. Knight, have we cleared the desk?
That is correct. We have cleared the desk.
Okay, then we are adjourned with the note that we will be observing the Labor Day holiday on Monday, so we will see everyone on Wednesday, September 4th will be the next time we meet. Have a great weekend. We are adjourned.